Aliens didn't know who'd come. Then humanity's deadliest Deathworlders showed up. In the emptiness, the alien patrol ships moved gracefully, their engines leaving faint trails of light. They had been sent to scout the outer rim of the Andivar system, a star cluster recently claimed by the Zorath Dominion. Everything here was supposed to be quiet, safe, and predictable. Commander Virik of the Zorath Patrol Fleet tapped the console in front of him. His long fingers hovered over the display, adjusting the sensors to detect even the faintest signs of movement. "All quiet," he muttered, his voice low and precise. "No unauthorized ships, nothing unusual." Behind him, the bridge hummed with the quiet energy of advanced machinery. The alien crew, tall and sleek with their metallic green skin glinting in the dim light, shared a collective confidence. They had encountered countless species across the galaxy. None had ever challenged the Zorath fleet, and none had survived a direct confrontation. Virik smiled, a small, sharp curl of his lips. "I wonder what we will discover next. Another primitive species, perhaps?" Suddenly the sensors pinged. Virik's eyes narrowed. "What is that?" The blip was small, almost undetectable. It moved differently than any known ship. Not the slow, rigid flight pattern of the insectoid Karath or the massive, lumbering carriers of the Tyrant cluster. It moved fast, precise, and almost unpredictable. "Unknown ship detected," the navigator said, his voice slightly strained. "Unregistered origin, closing distance." Virik leaned forward. "Signal it, identify yourselves." No response. "Commander, it's moving too fast," the navigator said, worry creeping into his tone. "It's almost dodging our scans," Virik frowned. "Impossible, no species could outmaneuver the Zorath sensors." The unknown ship appeared suddenly, like it had emerged from the darkness itself. Its hull was small, angular, and oddly unarmored. Yet as it zipped past the patrol fleet, it emitted a pulse that disabled one of the fleet's auxiliary drones. "Shields, shields up," Virik barked. The humans, or so they would soon discover, moved with a confidence and speed that no alien had ever seen. The first patrol ship, thinking itself superior, opened fire. Laser beams lanced through space. But the human vessel twisted and turned in ways the aliens' advanced targeting could not track. With a precise strike, it disabled the patrol's energy engines, leaving it drifting helplessly. Virik's jaw tightened. "What are they?" The ship was gone as quickly as it had appeared, leaving only a trail of disabled drones behind. Virik's crew stared at the sensors in shock. We need reinforcements," one whispered. Virik shook his head. "No, send no one yet. We must understand this anomaly." Far away, aboard the human vessel, Captain Alina Voss watched the patrol fleet retreat on her screens. Her crew was quiet but alert. Every human aboard had trained for this moment, though they had never seen a real alien fleet in action. Alina tapped her fingers on the console, thinking rapidly. "Remember, we're here to observe first, not destroy unless they force us." Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Marcus Hale, nodded. "Observation only. Got it, Captain, but if they come at us..." Alina smiled faintly. "Then they'll regret it." The humans were from Earth, or what the galaxy now called Terra. But they were far from ordinary. Raised on worlds that were harsh, dangerous, and sometimes deadly, they were used to surviving where others could not. This advantage, their ability to adapt, to think differently, and to survive against the odds, was about to change everything. Meanwhile, the Zorath Dominion scrambled to understand. Reports poured in from other patrol ships. Similar small, fast vessels had been spotted in other sectors. The aliens grew uneasy. No species had ever moved this way. None had ever dared to interfere with the Zorath. Commander Virik convened a meeting with his top officers. Holographic displays showed the pattern of attacks. Small strikes, precise, almost surgical. No unnecessary damage, no random destruction. Every move had a purpose. "They are intelligent," Virik said, his voice low but firm. "And they are studying us." One of his officers, a tall female with silver markings across her face, tilted her head. "But Commander, they are primitive, aren't they? Their technology seems simple." Virik shook his head. "Do not underestimate them. The galaxy has taught us that the most dangerous creatures are not always the largest or the most powerful. Sometimes, they are the cleverest." Back on the human ship, Alina and her crew had reached the planet they had been assigned to observe. It was called Dorath 9 by the aliens, a volcanic world with rivers of molten rock and skies thick with ash. Most species would have avoided it, unable to survive its heat and toxic atmosphere. but humans thrived. As the ship descended through the fiery clouds, sensors picked up small alien observation drones. The humans waited, patient and silent. Then, with the precision of predators, they disabled the drones without leaving a trace of their own position. Marcus looked at Alina. "You think they'll notice?" Alina shook her head. "By the time they do, it will be too late for them to understand what hit them." Below, on the planet's surface, humans had set up temporary observation points. Each team was trained to survive in extreme conditions: lava flows, acid storms, and near-constant tremors. They moved like shadows, unseen and unstoppable. Meanwhile, the alien commanders watched from orbit. Panic began to ripple through their ranks. The humans, they realized, did not behave like any known species. They were adaptive, fearless, and lethal in a way the Zorath had never imagined. Virik's voice trembled slightly, an emotion alien commanders rarely displayed. "This is not a primitive species. They may be something else entirely." At the same time, the humans completed their initial survey. Data streams poured back to the main ship. They had mapped the alien patrols, tracked weak points and defenses, and identified potential escape routes, all in silence. Alina stood on the observation deck, staring at the alien fleet on the screens. "We are not here to conquer," she whispered. "We are here to survive and to make sure they never forget the name of humanity." And the galaxy, vast and filled with countless species who considered themselves supreme, had no idea what was coming. Suddenly, alarms blared across the human ship. A new fleet of alien ships emerged from a nearby asteroid field, larger and faster than the previous patrols. They had come prepared. Alina's eyes narrowed. "Well," she said, "let's show them exactly what Deathworlders can do." The human ships split into small squads, each moving unpredictably, weaving between asteroids and fiery clouds. The aliens fired their advanced weapons, but the humans dodged with uncanny speed, using terrain, physics, and instinct in ways the aliens could not predict. One human pilot, barely out of her teens, launched a maneuver that disabled the lead alien ship's engines with a single, precise strike. The alien vessel drifted helplessly, its crew in disbelief. In the alien command centers, disbelief turned to fear. What is happening?" one officer cried. Virik clenched his fists. "They are not just clever," he said, voice grim. "They are something else, something the galaxy has never seen." The humans regrouped, their movements coordinated without a single word. Every attack was deliberate, every retreat strategic. They were not reckless, they were efficient, adaptive, and terrifyingly effective. By the end of the skirmish, the alien patrols were scattered, damaged, and confused. The humans had left no trace of themselves on Dorath 9's surface, no bodies, no debris, only the faint hum of their ships disappearing into the volcanic clouds. Alina looked at her crew. "First contact complete," she said quietly. "And they will remember it," Marcus grinned. "Think they'll tell the rest of the galaxy about us?" Alina shook her head, a wry smile on her face. "If they live long enough to tell anyone, yes." Far across the stars, in the quiet depths of space, the galaxy's most powerful species began to realize something terrifying. Humanity had arrived. And the humans who came from Deathworlds, the harshest planets in known space, were not to be underestimated. Virik, standing on the bridge of his flagship, stared at the empty coordinates where the humans had vanished. "Prepare for war," he whispered. "The Deathworlders are here." And with that, the first threads of a new chapter in galactic history began to weave themselves. The Zorath Dominion had never faced a threat like the humans. Their initial patrols had been outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and embarrassed in a way no species had ever experienced. Commanders across the Dominion were in disbelief, struggling to comprehend the strange, small, but deadly vessels that had appeared in Dorath 9's star system. Commander Virik paced the bridge of his flagship, his mind racing. "We need to understand them," he said to his officers. "We cannot fight what we do not understand." One officer, Kirathal, tapped the holographic display, highlighting human attack patterns. "Sir, they do not behave like any species we know. Their ships are small, but they strike with precision. They vanish before we can respond." "They seem unafraid of danger," Virik frowned. "Unafraid or willing to die? We must be cautious. They may not be simple primitives. We may have underestimated them entirely." Meanwhile, the humans were already moving across Dorath 9, not merely surviving but thriving. The planet's surface was unforgiving. Lava rivers snaked between jagged rocks, volcanic ash filled the air, and tremors shook the ground every few hours. Most species would have avoided such a world entirely. Elena Voss led her team across a plateau of blackened rock. "Stay alert," she reminded them. "We are observers, but we are also survivors. Watch for predators, natural or alien." Her crew, hardened by years of training on Earth and other harsh planets, moved with confidence. Each human was an expert in survival, navigation, and combat. They had faced deadly storms, acid rains, and hostile wildlife before. They had learned to thrive where others would perish. Marcus Hale scanned the horizon with a handheld sensor. "Volcanic vents ahead, dangerous but manageable." Elena nodded. "Good. We can use it as cover if the aliens come sniffing around." It was more than just survival instincts that made humans so effective. Their minds worked differently. While the aliens relied on strict logic and patterns, humans could improvise, take risks, and combine resources in ways the galaxy's species never imagined. Above them, Zorath scout drones hovered, sending back images to the fleet. Virik watched the live feed, his frustration growing. "They are not retreating, they are moving deliberately, learning from us. Every step, every action seems purposeful." Kiarathal leaned closer. "Sir, their physiology may explain some of it. Humans are tough, resistant to toxins, adaptable to extreme conditions. But it does not explain their tactics. No species has ever anticipated our moves this way." Virik clenched his jaw. "Prepare reinforcement fleets. If we cannot match them in strategy, we must overwhelm them with numbers." But even as he spoke, the humans were already anticipating such moves. Elena's team had set up small sensors and observation posts around Dorath 9, tracking Zorath patrol patterns. They could predict when and where the aliens would strike, turning the planet's natural hazards into traps. That evening, a patrol ship attempted to sweep through a narrow canyon where humans had set up an ambush. Heat vents blew clouds of superheated gas into the air, visibility dropped, and the canyon walls reflected and distorted sensor readings. Elena signaled her team. "Now." The humans moved silently, using magnetic grappling devices to scale the canyon walls and drop into ambush positions. The patrol ship, relying on conventional targeting, fired blindly into the smoke. One by one, the ship's sensors were disabled by electromagnetic pulses deployed by humans. Marcus smiled. "They don't know what hit them." A blast from a human energy net wrapped around the patrol ship's engines. Sparks flew. The ship drifted helplessly. Its crew scrambled in panic, unable to understand how their superior technology had been neutralized so easily. From orbit, Virik observed the outcome. His face paled as he realized the humans had planned every detail, accounting for hazards and using them as weapons. "It's not just survival," he said quietly. "They fight using the environment itself." Back on Dorath 9, the humans continued their survey. They explored lava fields, acid pools, and collapsed caves. Every dangerous area was a training ground, a test of their skills, and an opportunity to gather intelligence on the Zorath. Elena led her crew to a high ridge overlooking a valley where a large Zorath encampment had been established. "From here, we can observe without being seen," she said. "We need to know how they respond to our strikes. Every pattern, every routine, it's data for us." As the humans watched, the aliens moved cautiously. Their advanced sensors should have made them nearly invisible, but they were outmatched by the humans' unpredictable strategies. Humans didn't just hide. They used the environment to confuse and mislead, leaving no trace of their presence. Night fell on Dorath 9, the sky filled with the glow of molten rock. The humans made camp using portable shields and heat-resistant tents. Around the fire, they shared information and strategies. Elena looked at her crew. "Every move we make teaches them something about us. But we must always stay one step ahead. They may have power, but we have adaptability," Marcus nodded. "And resilience, that counts for more than their tech sometimes." Indeed, resilience was a key trait. On Earth and other human-settled worlds, they had survived storms that could strip cities, diseases that wiped out populations, and predators far stronger than themselves. Every member of the crew had been forged by hardship. Far above, the Zorath fleet convened. Virik's officers were frustrated and tense. "We've sent elite strike teams," Kiarathal said. "Everyone has failed. The humans anticipate our every move." Virik's gaze was sharp. "It's not anticipation, it's intelligence combined with survival instincts." They are not following logic, they are following instincts and improvisation. We cannot predict it because we are not built for it. A junior officer, shaking slightly, asked, "Sir, how do we fight them then?" Virik's face darkened. "We adapt or we die." The humans, meanwhile, were testing the limits of Dorath 9's deadly environment. Teams explored volcanic vents, navigated lava rivers using magnetic boots and heat-resistant suits, and studied the local flora and fauna for resources and survival advantages. Each day, they grew stronger and more confident. One team discovered a series of caverns beneath a volcanic ridge. The caves were filled with toxic gas and unstable rock formations. Most species would have avoided it, but humans saw opportunity. They mapped the caves, learning every crevice, every potential hazard, and every escape route. "These caves could be used against the aliens," Alina said. "They'll think they're safe, but we can control the battlefield without being seen." Indeed, the humans' ability to turn hazards into advantages became their signature. They used poisonous gases, unstable rock formations, and volcanic heat as tools, weaponizing the environment itself. Above them, the Zorath fleet was running out of options. Reinforcements arrived, but the humans' unpredictability meant they could not coordinate strikes. Every time the aliens thought they had a pattern, humans had already adapted, learning and countering. Virik realized the truth. The humans were not just surviving. They were studying, learning, and evolving faster than any species he had ever known. Their presence in the galaxy was not a mistake. It was a challenge, a statement that the universe's assumptions about life, intelligence, and power might be wrong. As the day ended on Dorath 9, humans gathered to review the day's findings. Maps of alien movements, environmental hazards, and potential threats were spread across tables. Plans for the next series of maneuvers were discussed, always emphasizing adaptability, observation, and teamwork. Alina looked at her crew, pride in her eyes. "We've shown them today that we are not easy prey. Tomorrow we will show them we are unstoppable." And far across the stars, the Zorath Dominion began to realize a terrifying fact. The humans were not merely clever, they were deadly in ways the galaxy could not predict. Every tactic the aliens had relied on for centuries was useless against beings who thrived on danger, adapted faster than machines, and survived conditions that would kill almost anything else. The galaxy had underestimated humanity. And that mistake would cost them dearly. The Zorath Dominion had begun to feel the first threads of unease. The humans were no longer just a curiosity, they were a threat. Every patrol sent to Dorath 9 had been defeated or forced to retreat, and intelligence reports suggested the humans were adapting faster than the aliens could comprehend. Commander Virik paced the bridge of his flagship. His long fingers tapped nervously on the console. "We cannot fight them the way we fight other species. They do not follow predictable patterns. They do not respond to fear or intimidation. They do not retreat when wounded." "What are they?" Kirathal's voice was calm but concerned. "Sir, the humans' biology may explain part of it. Their species evolved on harsh worlds under extreme conditions, but biology alone cannot account for their strategy. They are thinking differently than any species we have encountered." Virik leaned over the display. "We are not used to thinking in this way. We rely on plans, formation, logic. These humans, these Deathworlders, they improvise, they observe, they learn instantly, and then they strike where it hurts most." Far below, on Dorath 9, humans moved through the volcanic terrain with precision. The planet's surface was a deadly puzzle of molten rivers, jagged cliffs, and poisonous steam vents. Most species would avoid it entirely, but humans used it as a tool. Every hazard became a weapon, every dangerous crevice a hiding spot. Captain Alina Voss led her team along the edge of a molten canyon. "Keep your eyes open," she said. "The aliens may try to strike tonight, now that they've realized we are not ordinary observers." Lieutenant Marcus Hale scanned the horizon. "So far, no signs of patrol ships. Maybe they're learning to be cautious." Alina shook her head. "Or they are waiting to test us. Either way, we are ready." The humans had begun to implement new tactics, combining their knowledge of alien technology with their survival skills. Using sensors scavenged from disabled alien drones, they could predict patrol patterns, identify weak points in enemy defenses, and coordinate attacks without giving away their positions. A team of humans moved toward a ridge overlooking a Zorath observation post. They had created detailed maps of patrol routes and blind spots. With portable shields and stealth technology, they positioned themselves silently, ready to act. Marcus whispered, "They'll never see us coming." Elena smiled faintly. "Good, that's the idea." Back in orbit, Viric's officers struggled to understand. "Sir," Kirathal said, pointing to the displays, "the humans are almost impossible to track. They appear in one location, then vanish, only to strike elsewhere. Their movements, they don't follow logic." Viric's jaw tightened. "It is not just strategy, it is instinct. They think like predators and survive like the deadliest prey. They are not just fighting, they are learning, adapting, and evolving in real time." The humans made their move. Using the terrain, they launched a small-scale ambush against a Zorath convoy transporting supplies. Smoke, volcanic dust, and narrow rock formations created perfect cover. Humans disabled engines with precise energy pulses and neutralized surveillance drones before the convoy could respond. From orbit, Viric watched in disbelief as the human team executed maneuvers that no alien ship could anticipate. Their movements were unpredictable, their attacks targeted, and their retreats flawless. "They are not afraid of death," Kirathal whispered. "They face danger willingly, they thrive in it." Viric clenched his fists. "They are not merely tough," he said. "They are exceptional." Every engagement proves it. We must rethink everything we know about combat, strategy, and survival. On the ground, the humans regrouped after the ambush. Supplies had been captured from the convoy, but more importantly, the team had gathered intelligence. They understood the Zorath's technology, tactics, and weaknesses in a way that the aliens had never imagined possible. Elena addressed her team. "We've learned something valuable today. Observation, patience, and adaptation give us the advantage. Remember, we are stronger because we survive where they cannot and because we think differently. That is our power," Marcus grinned. "And we make it look easy." Elena's eyes scanned the horizon. "It is not easy, every day is a challenge, but that challenge makes us stronger. That challenge makes us unstoppable." The humans' adaptability was astonishing. They used environmental hazards as tools, exploiting volcanic vents to create clouds of smoke for cover, using molten rivers to block enemy movements, and navigating treacherous cliffs with ease. Every action was calculated, every risk measured, but they were willing to take risks that no other species would. Meanwhile, the Zorath Dominion scrambled to respond. Reinforcements arrived in orbit, fleets equipped with advanced sensors, weapons, and troops. The plan was to overwhelm the humans with sheer numbers. Viric studied the new fleets. "Quantity will not save us," he said. "They are not just clever, they are efficient, resourceful, and deadly in ways we cannot predict." The humans, aware of the incoming reinforcements, prepared accordingly. They had studied Zorath patrol movements for days and now had created traps and ambush points across the terrain. Each hazard on Dorath 9 became a weapon, each cliff, crevice, and lava stream a tool. Elena briefed her team. "The aliens think numbers will win. They are wrong. Terrain, timing, and tactics are our allies. We will use every advantage we have. They will never know what hit them." That night, the battle began. Alien ships descended toward the planet, deploying troops to strategic locations. But the humans were ready. Using concealed positions, energy nets, and environmental traps, they struck with precision, neutralizing alien units before they could regroup. The aliens were forced to retreat repeatedly, each failed attempt increasing their frustration. Viric, observing from orbit, realized that no amount of advanced technology could match the humans' adaptability. "They are learning faster than we can counter," he muttered. "Faster than any species we've faced." On the ground, humans continued to move with stealth and precision. They were not reckless, every step was measured, every attack calculated. The Zorath, powerful and technologically superior, were being defeated by strategy, intelligence, and the humans' ability to survive anywhere. Marcus looked at Elena. "They're starting to get desperate. I can see it in their movements." Elena nodded. "Good. Desperation makes them predictable. We will use that." Humans set up traps using the planet's natural hazards. They created narrow passageways filled with molten rock traps, channeled toxic steam from volcanic vents to drive enemies into ambush zones, and used rock falls to block enemy reinforcements. Every move reinforced a single principle. Humans adapted faster, learned faster, and survived better than any other species. Above them, Viric realized the terrifying truth. "We are not fighting just for territory," he said quietly. "We are fighting to survive against a species that may redefine the galaxy's balance of power." The humans' ingenuity was unmatched. They had turned Dorath 9's harsh environment into a training ground, a battlefield, and a testing ground. Every encounter taught them more about the aliens' tactics. Every failed attack by the Zorath became a lesson to exploit. Alina stood at the edge of a volcanic ridge, observing the retreating alien patrols. "They are learning," Marcus said. Alina shook her head. "No, we are teaching them the price of underestimating humanity." The galaxy had assumed humans were weak, primitive, and easily subdued. They were wrong. Humans were adaptable, relentless, and fearless. They thrived in environments that would destroy other species and outthought enemies that considered themselves supreme. As night fell over Dorath 9, humans gathered to discuss the day's outcomes. Maps, sensor readings, and observations were shared. Every lesson learned was recorded, every weakness of the Zorath noted for future operations. Alina addressed her crew. "We are not here to destroy for the sake of conquest. We are here to survive, to show that we belong in this galaxy, and to prove that humanity cannot be underestimated. Every move we make teaches them a lesson they will never forget." Marcus smiled. "They're learning it the hard way." Alina's gaze lifted to the stars. "And the galaxy will learn too, one encounter at a time." In orbit, Commander Virik watched the humans disappear into Dorath 9 volcanic terrain. He understood the truth. This species, small, resilient, and clever, was unlike anything the galaxy had encountered. They were not just survivors, they were predators, hunters, and learners. They would not be defeated by force or fear. "They are something else entirely," he muttered. "The humans, the Deathworlders, they will change everything." And far across the galaxy, as the humans prepared for another day on the deadly planet, the Zorath Dominion realized a frightening fact. They had underestimated humanity, and the consequences of that mistake were only beginning to unfold. The Zorath Dominion had begun to recognize a truth they could not ignore. The humans were unlike any species they had ever faced. Every patrol, every strike, every observation mission had ended in confusion, defeat, or retreat. And now, they had begun assembling a full-scale fleet to overwhelm Dorath 9. Commander Virik stood on the bridge of his flagship, overlooking a holographic display of dozens of Zorath warships converging on the volcanic planet below. "This ends today," he said, his voice low but firm. "We will crush them before they learn more about us. We will show the galaxy that humans are not invincible." Kirathal frowned. "Sir, with all due respect, they have survived far worse than we can bring to them. Their tactics, we cannot predict them. Every encounter teaches them. Every battle strengthens them." Virik clenched his fists. "We cannot fail, deploy the fleets, engage all resources. They may survive, but we will not." Below, the humans were already preparing. Captain Alina Voss stood on a ridge overlooking a wide volcanic plain, where the Zorath fleet was beginning to deploy ground forces. The planet itself seemed alive with danger. Rivers of molten rock snaked through valleys, plumes of toxic steam hissed from vents, and tremors shook the cliffs. But for the humans, Dorath 9 was a weapon, a training ground, and a battlefield all at once. "We are outnumbered," Marcus Hale said, scanning the horizon. "Hundreds of enemy troops, dozens of heavy vehicles." Alina shook her head. "Numbers do not matter. We do not fight like them. We fight smarter, faster, and in ways they cannot predict. Every hazard here is our ally. Every weakness they display will be exploited." The humans moved in small squads, splitting into groups to cover multiple ambush points. Each team had a precise mission: slow down the alien advance, gather intelligence, and exploit terrain to their advantage. As the Zorath troops moved into the volcanic valleys, humans activated traps. Rockslides were triggered by carefully placed charges, forcing alien vehicles into narrow choke points. Toxic steam was redirected from vents to create smokescreens, hiding human movements while disorienting the enemy. From orbit, Virik observed the chaos with growing dread. "They are controlling the battlefield," he said. "The planet itself is a weapon in their hands." The humans struck with precision. Small, agile vehicles zipped between molten rivers and jagged rocks, disabling alien patrols with energy pulses and EMP devices. Ground teams coordinated ambushes that combined stealth, terrain advantage, and psychological tactics. A squad of humans navigated a narrow canyon, while the Zorath attempted to block their advance with heavy vehicles. Using magnetic climbing equipment, they scaled the canyon walls and dropped into the alien positions from above. The attack was surgical, taking out critical communication units and forcing a hasty retreat. Marcus laughed quietly. They never learn. Every time they think they have us cornered, we're already somewhere else. Alina nodded. Exactly. They fight by rules, we fight by instinct. That is our advantage. Even as the humans demonstrated their skill on the ground, orbital skirmishes began. Small human ships darted between the Zorath capital ships, using volcanic ash clouds and thermal vents to mask their movements. Alien targeting systems failed repeatedly as the humans executed unpredictable maneuvers, striking where defenses were weakest. Viric's crew panicked. Sir, their ships are too fast, too precise. We cannot hit them. They are learning from us. They adapt to every strike, Kirathal added. Each encounter teaches them our methods. It's as if they are evolving during battle. Viric gritted his teeth. Then we escalate, bring the heavy weapons online, use the orbital cannons, crush them. The humans anticipated this as well. They had set up decoy positions, luring orbital fire into empty canyons and molten riverbeds. Explosions shook the ground, but the humans were unharmed, observing the results and adjusting their strategies. Every Zorath attack provided new data which was immediately incorporated into their tactics. Alina turned to Marcus. They think numbers can defeat us. Let's prove them wrong. Human squads used the terrain to create unpredictable paths for alien troops. Lava rivers became natural barriers, ash clouds hid their movements, and unstable cliffs were used as traps. The Zorath found themselves ambushed repeatedly, suffering losses they could not comprehend. A massive alien assault vehicle approached, its armor thick and weapons deadly. But humans had studied its design and weaknesses. Using a combination of energy pulses and precise strikes, they disabled its mobility and weapon systems without exposing themselves to fire. The crew inside had no idea how a smaller, weaker species could neutralize them so easily. From orbit, Viric's face darkened. "How are they doing this?" he muttered. "Their numbers are small, their technology is inferior. And yet they fight like the universe itself is on their side." The human strategy was not brute force. It was efficiency, adaptability, and teamwork. Every team knew the planet's hazards better than the aliens. Every maneuver was planned with observation, data, and instinct. The Zorath, confident in their superior technology, were constantly outmaneuvered. As the battle continued, alien commanders attempted a coordinated strike to trap the humans in the volcanic valleys. But Alina anticipated the move. "Split into squads and create multiple false trails," she instructed. "We want them chasing shadows, not us." The humans vanished from the main valley, reappearing in unexpected positions to attack supply lines, disable communications, and confuse alien troops. The Zorath fell into disarray. Their formations collapsed, their strategy crumbled, and panic spread among their ranks. Viric clenched his fists in frustration. "They are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. How is this possible?" "They fight differently," Kirathal replied. "Not like any species we have encountered. They anticipate, adapt, and survive. Their instincts, they are extraordinary." On the ground, Alina watched a massive Zorath assault begin to retreat. "They're learning the wrong lesson," she said quietly. "They cannot beat us here." "Not on our terms, not on this planet." Marcus looked at the retreating troops. "We've never seen them so disorganized. They're panicking." Alina nodded. "Good, panic makes them predictable, and predictable means vulnerable." The humans pressed the advantage. Using every tool at their disposal, traps, terrain, intelligence, they forced alien units into unfavorable positions. Narrow canyon paths, molten river barriers, and strategically collapsed cliffs slowed reinforcements. Every ambush inflicted maximum damage while keeping humans safe. In orbit, Viric realized the terrible truth. The humans were not just surviving, they were dominating. The Zorath fleet, confident in its power, had been outsmarted at every turn. Every tactic failed. Every assumption was proven wrong. "They are unstoppable," Viric admitted, voice trembling. "No force we deploy seems to affect them. They are a new level of combat entirely." Meanwhile, on Dorath 9, the humans began to consolidate their positions. They had inflicted significant losses on the Zorath while sustaining minimal damage themselves. Their adaptability and teamwork had turned the planet itself into a weapon against a superior force. Elena addressed her crew. This is what it means to be Deathworlders. We survive where others fail. We fight smarter, faster, and more efficiently. Today we have shown them what humanity is capable of. But tomorrow we may need to fight even harder. Marcus smiled. They're going to remember us. Elena nodded. They will. And the galaxy will too. One day, every species that underestimates humanity will learn the same lesson we taught the Zorath today. As the last alien ships retreated into orbit, the humans surveyed the battlefield. Lava flowed freely, smoke filled the air, and the terrain was scarred by the day's engagements. Yet among the chaos, the humans stood strong, unharmed, and ready. From orbit, Virik watched in disbelief as the humans regrouped on the planet's surface. They are not just surviving, they are thriving in the deadliest conditions. They are changing the rules of war. The humans, tired but undeterred, prepared for the next day. Dorath 9 had proven to be a deadly ally, a proving ground that amplified their strengths and neutralized the aliens' advantages. Elena turned to her crew. Rest tonight. Tomorrow we continue. And remember, we are not just fighting for ourselves. We are showing the galaxy that humans, the Deathworlders, cannot be underestimated. Above them, stars twinkled like silent witnesses to a battle that would become legend. Humans had survived, adapted, and conquered the first true test against a superior alien force. But even greater challenges awaited, and the galaxy would soon realize the full extent of humanity's power. And somewhere in the distant stars, alien leaders began to whisper the truth that no one in the galaxy wanted to accept. The humans were not merely clever, they were unstoppable. The fires of Dorath 9 volcanic plains burned brightly, illuminating a battlefield unlike any galaxy had ever seen. The humans stood at the center, their figures small against the harsh landscape, yet their presence carried a weight no alien could ignore. Captain Elena Voss surveyed the horizon. Smoke and molten rock swirled around the retreating Zorath forces. The humans had already won numerous skirmishes, but the war was far from over. The aliens were desperate, and desperation made them unpredictable and dangerous. Marcus Hale stood beside her, scanning the terrain with a handheld device. They're regrouping, he said quietly. A massive force is gathering near the northern valley. It looks like they're preparing a superweapon. Elena's eyes narrowed. They've learned from us. They're trying to turn their last advantage into a weapon. But if they think a superweapon can stop us, they've forgotten one thing: we adapt, we survive, and we never surrender. Far above, Commander Virik watched from orbit. His fleet had been shattered, his troops demoralized, and now the humans faced him with calm and confidence. They have survived everything, he muttered, and now they are ready for the final test. The human strategy was not brute force. It was intelligence, adaptability, and courage. Teams moved through volcanic ridges, lava streams, and ash clouds, setting ambushes, disabling communication nodes, and preparing traps for the superweapon's deployment. Elena turned to her crew. Listen carefully. The aliens think their superweapon will end us. They are wrong. We will use every advantage this planet gives us. Terrain, heat, smoke, unpredictability, everything. We are Deathworlders. We survive where others die. We win where others fail. The humans split into squads, moving silently like shadows over the treacherous terrain. Some set traps using volcanic vents, collapsing rocks into narrow passes, and redirecting rivers of molten rock. Others moved to high vantage points, observing alien troop movements and coordinating the humans' responses. The Zorath superweapon was enormous. Its energy cores glowed ominously, casting long shadows over the valleys. Alien engineers prepared it with precision, believing it would finally break the humans' resistance. But the humans had already anticipated this. Marcus glanced at Elena. They think they can trap us in the valley. They're wrong. Elena nodded. We have ways to turn their weapon against them. Using the terrain, humans guided alien forces into a series of narrow channels and trap zones. Lava streams blocked reinforcements, collapsing cliffs cut off escape routes, and strategically placed charges forced the superweapon into unstable positions. When the weapon fired its first energy pulse, it struck the ground, but instead of devastating the humans, it triggered a chain reaction. Rocks, molten rivers, and ash clouds redirected the energy back at the weapon itself. The explosion was massive, disabling the device and scattering the alien engineers in panic. From orbit, Virik's face turned pale. Impossible, he whispered. It should have destroyed them. It should have ended this. Alina led her teams forward, exploiting the chaos. Small squads disabled remaining alien units with precision strikes. Energy pulses, EMP devices, and environmental traps neutralized weapons and vehicles. Every human action was deliberate, measured, and lethal in efficiency, but never cruel. Marcus smiled as they advanced. They didn't expect this. They thought raw power would win. Alina nodded. Raw power doesn't survive here. Intelligence, teamwork, adaptability, that's what wins. That's what humanity is. The battle reached the volcanic ridge overlooking the northern valley. The last Zorath troops were trapped, demoralized, and exposed. Humans moved with speed and precision, cutting off escape routes and forcing surrender without unnecessary destruction. Virik's fleet in orbit attempted to intervene, but human ships, small and agile, used volcanic ash clouds, thermal vents, and unpredictable maneuvers to disable orbital cannons and defensive systems. The Zorath ships were forced to retreat. From the ground, Alina addressed her crew. We have done more than survive. We have shown them what humanity can do. But remember, our fight is not just for today. It is to show the galaxy that we are not to be underestimated. The Zorath survivors surrendered, not out of weakness, but out of recognition. They had faced a species unlike any other, a species that thrived in the deadliest conditions, adapted to every challenge, and overcame every obstacle. Virik watched the humans from his flagship. His pride as a commander had been replaced with respect and fear. They are beyond anything we imagined. Humanity, the Deathworlders, they will change the galaxy forever. Alina and her crew gathered on the volcanic ridge. The sky was a mix of ash clouds and glowing molten rivers. The planet had tested them, and they had survived. They had not only fought, they had learned, adapted, and triumphed. Marcus turned to Alina. Do you think the rest of the galaxy is ready to see this? Alina shook her head, smiling. No, and that is why we must be ready. They will not expect us. They will not understand us. And that is our advantage. Humans began assisting survivors, gathering intelligence, and repairing essential structures. They did not seek conquest or revenge. They sought understanding, adaptation, and preparedness for the challenges ahead. The galaxy, long convinced that the Zorath were supreme, had been wrong. Humanity had proven that toughness, intelligence, and resilience could overcome even the most advanced adversaries. The humans were not just another species. They were the deadliest survivalists the galaxy had ever seen. Virik's voice, quiet and solemn, spoke to his officers. We underestimated them. We treated them as primitives. That mistake has cost us dearly. Humanity, they are unlike anything else. They are unstoppable. Alina watched as the last of the Zorath troops retreated, either surrendering or fleeing. Today, we have won, she said. But tomorrow, we prepare for the next challenge. The galaxy is vast, and there are many who will doubt us. Let them doubt. We will show them what it means to be human. Marcus laughed softly. I think they'll remember Dorath 9 for a long time. Alina's eyes scanned the stars. They will, and so will every world that underestimates humanity. We are not just survivors. We are Deathworlders. We are humanity. And the galaxy will learn that our limits are only the ones we choose to accept. Across the stars, the news of Dorath 9 battles spread. Alien species whispered tales of humans who survived the deadliest environments, outsmarted the strongest fleets, and adapted to every challenge. The legend of the Deathworlders began, striking fear and awe into the hearts of all who heard it. Alina stood with her crew, silhouetted against the glowing volcanic sky. They had faced the ultimate test, and they had prevailed. Humans had proven not only their strength and intelligence, but also their ability to endure, adapt, and dominate where others would fail. Marcus nudged her. Think the Zorath will tell anyone what really happened? Alina smiled. Some will deny it, but it does not matter. The galaxy will remember. Humanity has arrived, and we are just getting started. As the humans prepared to leave Dorath 9, their ships glided silently through the volcanic clouds. Every crew member carried a sense of pride and purpose. They had survived impossible odds. They had fought against a superior enemy and won through skill, courage, and adaptability. Commander Virik, his fleet in retreat, realized a truth that would haunt him forever. Humanity was no longer just another species. They were a force of nature, a species forged by Deathworlds, and the galaxy had never seen anything like them. Alina's voice echoed over the comms to her fleet. Set course for the next challenge. Humanity will continue to grow, adapt, and survive. Wherever danger lies, we will face it, and wherever the galaxy doubts us, we will show them the truth. We are humans, and we are unstoppable. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of danger, mystery, and opportunity. But the humans, Deathworlders from the deadliest worlds, were ready. They had survived Dorath 9, outsmarted the Zorath, and proved that no challenge was too great. The galaxy would soon learn a lesson it could not ignore. Humanity, forged in the harshest worlds, was the ultimate survivor. Adaptable, fearless, clever, and relentless, humans had arrived, and nothing could stand in their way. And so, with the glow of volcanic fires fading behind them, the humans set their sights on the stars, ready to face whatever the galaxy could throw at them next. The Deathworlders had proven themselves. Humanity had arrived. The galaxy would never be the same.